hope you're doing well today. So in the videos we've talked about a lot of different subjects, it would seem. All the subjects really just pointing to the same thing. You could say non-duality, or oneness, or the fictitious nature of the self, the separate self, the false self, whatever you want to call it. The self is a dream within the dream, a prison created out of fear, the fear of no self, to be exact, fear of non-being. Some would say there's nothing you can do to rid the false self. To rid yourself of the false self. But there seems to be a way. Some would say there is. But we get lost in the ways to do this, or the practices which may or may not lead up to the dissipation of the energy that is the separate self. In my own story, it seemed there was a lot of seeking. There was a lot of searching. There was a lot of meeting with elders in different communities and different religious affiliations, and asking questions. Even seeking, though, is of the separate self. Trying to find something to fix this situation I appear to be in. All the comings and goings of life, the majority of which are to keep out the god-awful truth. And that is that I will die. The contemplation of death is a great exercise. I know for me, I never considered it to be real. There was almost an unconscious belief that I would live forever. And if there wasn't a belief, there were plenty of fairy tales to go around to tell me otherwise. And that made it easy to keep on living those beliefs. And some would call the beliefs faith. If you ask me, I think that faith is a state of being. It has nothing to do with my beliefs. Faith is not an intellectual pursuit. We could say that faith is being perfectly in this moment always. not planning for tomorrow, not worrying about tomorrow or yesterday for that matter. Just being and doing as I am shown to do. Not so easy with a separate sense of self, though. My experience now is no sense of me in here. I use the words I and me. That's the game of language. It's dualistic by nature. As soon as I open my mouth, the truth falls away. However, I get a kick out of trying to use words to point to the truth, reality. And I still go around like all the other human forms or human beings. Go to work, pay the bills, have relationships with people. Thoughts still arise, feelings still arise. There's pain in the body sometimes. There's no attachment to it anymore because there's nothing to attach. When the false self is seen through completely, life is just lived, or life is lived through the form. And now there's no longer anything in the way of the flow of life through the form. Whereas the separate sense of self is almost a form of resistance that keeps us from moving forward, from experiencing everything fully. Life brings on a lot of feelings. Could just say energetic responses that seem to be within the form, caused by what seems to be something outside of the form. And then the mind tries to tell us a story about that based on past experience or future want. But death, something to be contemplated. I, as the character, was born with death sitting on my shoulder. A death awareness, you might say. And we all may have it to some degree. Cannot vouch for everyone. And all that running out and trying to make things happen was to not pay attention to that. But this life is very short. Very, very short. I think I heard one time something around 25 to 30,000 days. It doesn't seem like a whole lot. Most of it's missed because I'm running away from truth. The reality that I will cease to exist at some point in time. There is no proof of anything after this, and I do not wallow in belief, so I will not attempt to guess if there's anything after this. From my experience, though, this is it. What is, and that's okay with me. In fact, when death is fully embraced, you could say the separate sense of self dies when death is fully embraced and accepted. Then and only then can we truly live. Until then, we're just chasing cheap thrills. And thrills are okay. There's There's nothing wrong with the comings and goings of life. Very similar to an anthill, though, all these comings and goings. When I was a kid, you'd see this giant anthill, and it never failed. I had to step on the anthill. May have been cruel, I don't know, but I was always impressed that I could come out the next day and that hill would be rebuilt. And you could do that over and over again, and it would be rebuilt every time. I don't step on ant hills anymore, not on purpose. But if I did, that would be okay too. This thing, life, is truly amazing. Truly, truly amazing once we see it. When the separate sense of self is seen through, the magic returns. Even in the seeming mundane nature of life, sometimes the magic is there. Just sitting, just looking, just listening, just being aware. I like to sit in silence and watch. I go to a coffee shop sometimes, and often, at least once a week, and sit and watch people, watch the world go by. Just sit quietly and watch and listen. No judgment, no discrimination. Just watching, just seeing it, just hearing it, filtering it all through myself. What a wonderful thing it is. Death. Contemplate your death. Look it in the face. In our Western world, we tend to hide it, make it pretty. Somebody dies, people come and get them and take them away. The next time we see them, they're all painted up as though they're alive, put in this fancy little box and then stuck in the ground. It doesn't take on a realness that way. But to realize truly that I will die, now that's something. There's a freedom there, for lack of a better word. But it's not about freedom. It's not necessarily about anything that I say. Truth, life. I can say, though, that what I am now is not what I was over 5 years ago. That thing is gone. Something new stands here, or sits here, and that thing was just in the way of what we are. The story, the character, all the questions. when you could say I looked at the source of all those questions, that angst, that frustration, that having to have this or that person or whatever. I love this world. I love everything in it, all of it. But I must say that our whole civilization is built on make-believe. It's all make-believe. Money? It's not real. It's not real. It's a belief. It's an idea. It's a concept we all agree upon. So we spend a lot of our lives running around chasing it. Don't get me wrong. I still go to my job. I make money. Pay bills. I trade on the stock market for money. But it's not real. The object, there's something there. But the concepts, the mathematics, the ideas, those aren't real. Same thing with our laws and our politics. It's all dogma. Everything's dogma. Everything mind created is dogma. It has nothing to do with the truth. Dogma divides. Dogma separates. It's part of the game, though. Without separation, we wouldn't have conflict or drama. What would life be without drama? It's kind of like getting on a roller coaster that goes straight and doesn't go up or down, just in a straight line. Maybe in a circle, but it doesn't go up or down. Kind of get boring. Well, that's kind of like what it is now for me. I like this ride better, though. That roller coaster stuff, all those loops, that's no fun. It was for a while, till it wasn't. Another thing we can talk about real quick, I've got a few more minutes, is the idea that, wherever your position is, the grass is always greener on the other side. Oh, if I only had enough money, it would be okay. Well, there's people that have a lot of money and they're not okay. They're not happy. I live in Los Angeles. I see it all the time. Got more stuff than you could shake a stick at. 2, 3, 4 cars, big old house, lots of money. Not happy. They got alcohol and drug problems just like the poor man. Maybe if I get that right woman, I'll be happy. I know a lot of people got the right woman or the right guy. Still ain't always happy. Good times and bad. Can't get away from them. They'll come to you. You don't even have to look for it. It's how you take it that makes the difference. Do you accept it? Do you fight it? Really, you're not accepting it or fighting it. It's that story. The story is accepting or fighting it. Well, it's fighting it. Letting go of the story in my head. Separate sense of self. That's when the fighting stops. Just go where it's taking me. Go where it's taking you. Not as easy as it sounds. Worth looking for, though. Worth finding. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for now. I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Have a beautiful day. Bye now.